Hey, what is up, guys? It is John from VRM Ecom here, and today I want to show you guys my 550k Shopify dropshipping case study. In this video, I will be showing you guys the exact store that made 550k, as well as the exact product that I use, and then I'll go over the stats, which is the revenue, the cost, and the profits, as well as the store breakdown. I will be showing you guys the exact funnel layout that I used to increase my conversion rate, as well as the copy that I used and the unique selling angle that I used. And then when it comes to the advertisements, I'll show you guys a general overview of the ad strategy, and then I'll show you the backend of the ad account as to exactly how I ran the ads and how much money I spent on the advertisements. And then I'll also give you the exact winning ad copy that helped me generate 550k. Alright, so here are the stats for the site. We did $568,000 in revenue. There was $19,000 in returns. Out of 18,000 units sold, each unit was $9 per unit. So that's a total cost of $162,000 in cost of goods. And then we spent $312,000 in ads, which leaves us with $94,000 in profit, or 16% profit margins. Now be aware that this is not subtracting the cost of labor fees. And I think we spent about $3,500 to $4,000 in labor costs. So I think if you subtract everything, it'll come out to roughly about $90,000 in total profit. Alright, so let's go over the Shopify store. So I'm going to show you guys today how to write great copy that converts, how to lay out your funnel so that people can navigate through it as easy as possible, how to lay out your policies and your delivery times on your product page so that people know exactly what to expect, and then how to convince people to buy multiple units. I know a lot of people these days are struggling with their average order value, so it's key to convincing people to buy multiple units. And then I'll also show you guys what to do in general to increase your conversion rates on your store. So let's dive right into my Shopify store. Alright, so here we are on my Shopify site, Mosquito Trap X, and the way to access this product page, or the way I link people from advertisement to this directly to this product page, was not actually through this URL, because this URL is so ugly. But if you type in /buy, I set up a URL redirect. It goes right to the product page, and this is actually my funnel page as well, as you guys can see. I have all of these little diagrams and copy right below the product, and I basically turned this little product page into a funnel page. What most people do, I see, is they have all the descriptions on the right side right here, and they'll just scroll all the way down, and that takes a lot of scrolling for somebody to get through all that information. So to kind of make the user experience a bit better, I made it into bite-sized chunks where you have these two blocks per section in this format, just so that if you're on desktop, you're able to browse through all the copy a lot easier. Now when you do get to the bottom, you see all these reviews. Do keep in mind that most of these reviews have been pulled from AliExpress. Some of them might be real because I've been running this site for quite a long time now, but initially when I started the site off, most of the reviews were pulled from AliExpress. So a few things that make this page convert so well is, one, I don't have that verified discount timer that I see on most drop shipping sites. People put that little timer on there saying that there's only like 5 hours or like 10 hours left, you have to buy it now. I kind of removed that and I replaced that with this copy down here, just saying that it saves 60%, there's only 24 hours left. I decided to remove that timer because, as you know, dropshipping is getting quite saturated, and there's so many people out there dropshipping that most consumers are now aware of dropshipping sites. So you have to try to make your site look as non-dropshippy as possible for it to convert better. So I kind of removed that, made sure I gave people 100% money back guarantee, and I can stand behind this product because I actually own 3 of these myself and I've tested it, so I know that the majority of people getting it will not ask for their money back because the product does work. And then I included free shipping worldwide down right here because I want to let international customers know that I do ship worldwide and it's not only going towards the United States. And then right up here we have the quantity breaks. This is very key to increasing your average order value because right now with CPMs going up so high, you want to try to get as high of an average order value as possible to stay profitable. So by giving them a 0% discount on one purchase, but by giving them 25% off on 2, I'm like highly incentivizing people to purchase 2. So the majority of people actually did end up buying 2, and my average order value came out to be a little bit over 60 bucks. And okay, so let's continue scrolling down here, and let's go over the copy real quick and why this copy, in my opinion, is pretty good. So we start off by saying protecting you and your loved ones from mosquitoes is easier and safer than ever. The Mosquito Trap X is kid safe, chemical friendly, and pet friendly. So we'll stop right there. Basically, what the initial part is saying is it's really triggering the emotions of a person, saying that this device will protect you from or this device will protect you from mosquitoes, as well as your loved ones, and that hits like a very emotional side of a person and kind of reels them into reading more. And then once you continue to read more, basically go over the features of the product, which is the final selling point and the closing point of the product. So basically, when you get through the first paragraph over here, now we're going over the exact features of how the product works, why the product works, and then why you need multiple units. So this part right here is basically convincing people that you can buy one unit if you want to buy one, but it'd be better for you to buy multiple because your house is big and there's a lot of mosquitoes around your entire house. So by having multiple units, there's a much better chance that you'll have less mosquitoes in your house. So by including this in here, it definitely increased the average order value by quite a bit. And then I clearly label out the shipping and delivery times down here so that we don't get any complaints from consumers saying, when is my product arriving, has it shipped yet, and all those other complaints and chargebacks that you get when you don't state your delivery times. And then we do offer a 30-day risk-free guarantee, just because I know the product works and it is a great product. So there's no worries, but there's no trouble in offering a 30-day risk-free guarantee. So I think that is all the elements that goes into making a great converting funnel. And let's get on into the next section. Alright, so let's go over the Facebook ad strategies that I use for the site. I'm going to be showing you guys the basic overview of how I set up the ads, which is going from interest targeting into lookalikes, and then finally into broad targeting. That's the final stage. I'll show you how I set up the testing phase, how I set up the scaling phase, and then what makes a great converting video ad, and how do you set up a great ad. Alright, so I made this little diagram for you guys to make everything look a little bit easier and follow along. So basically, when I start off, I make a $100 CBO and I put 5 ad sets into it, and each ad set has 2 ads. These are 2 separate ads, usually video ads depending on the site. For this site in particular, Mosquito Trap X, I use 5 interest targets on these 5 ad sets. They're very broad because, as you know, Facebook is switching into machine learning, and now you don't have to focus so hard on the targeting and just let Facebook figure out who your audience is. So for this store, I would go with mosquitoes, mosquito nets, mosquito traps, pests, insects, just very broad targets, and try to let Facebook figure out who your exact audience is. And then for each ad set, I'll set a minimum spend of $10 each. So if you think about it, all 5 ad sets combined, the total minimum spend is $50, which is half of the total spend of the CBO of $100. And the reason why I do this is because I want 50% of the budget to be forcibly allocated to each of the ad sets, and then I want the other 50%, I want Facebook to decide where they want to allocate that. So if they think that ad set 2 is performing better than ad set 3, then after it spends $10 on each of these ad sets, it'll try to spend more money towards ad set 2 rather than ad set 3. And then when it comes to the ad copies within each of the ad sets, I put 2 just so that I could see whether or not ad set 1 ad copy 1 or ad copy 2 is performing better. So this is basically testing phase 1, and then as we go into testing phase 2, I'll take some of the data from testing phase 1 and put it into testing phase 2. So basically what I found in this example is I found that ad set 2 was performing the best and ad 1 was outperforming ad 2. So in testing phase 2, I basically duped ad set 2 5 times. I kept the same minimum spend rules because I still want Facebook to determine the other 50% of the budget allocation, and then I used only ad 1 in testing phase 2. Now when we're going into testing phase 3, I basically take all the data from testing phase 1 and testing phase 2, and I create custom audiences and make lookalike audiences. So for the mosquito store, the view video lookalike audience had the most data. By the time I spent probably about $500. So I made 75% view video lookalike audiences, and I made them up to 5%. Now you can make up to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%, but for the purposes of this store, I decided to go up to 5% just because I didn't have that much data. I didn't want Facebook to go too broad, so I capped it off at 5%. And I set the same exact minimum spend rules for these as well, and used the winning ad copy for testing phase 3. Now, if you want, you can make different types of lookalikes like page view, view content, add to cart, initiate checkout. Whatever audiences have the most data, you can use that for testing phase 3. So you don't have to just test view video 75%. You should be testing any lookalike that has enough data in testing phase 3. Now, after testing phase 3, once you find winning audiences that are working, now you can go into the scaling phase. And basically, in the scaling phase, you take all the working audiences from your testing phases and you throw them together into a fat CBO. So, in this example, I have a $500 CBO, and we have 75% view video, 95% view video, 10-second view video, 75% view video, and 10-second view video. And as you can see, the lookalike audience sizes are all different. This is 1, 5, 3, 2, 5%, and the reason for these differences is because I've basically taken all the winning audiences from the testing phases and thrown them together collectively into the scaling phase. Now, if you look at the ads, I still use the exact same ads that have been winning inside the scaling phase. It's just that the budget is higher, and now I know that all these audiences inside the scaling phase are winning audiences. Now, let's say that in the scaling phase, the CBO performs better than you expected for 2 days, and it's below the target CPP. Then I'll just double the CBO to $1,000 the next day after 2 days. And then after another 2 days, if it continues to perform below the target CPP, I'll just keep on doubling it and doubling it and doubling it until it hits a point where the CBO starts to kind of pass the CPP threshold. And to go from scaling phase 1 to scaling phase 2 now, this is after you spend probably about $20,000 in your ad account and your pixel has somewhat matured. You can go into scaling phase 2, which is basically the ultimate scaling phase, because at this point you don't even have to specify the interest or the audience for Facebook. You just select the countries and let Facebook figure out who your audience is and who to target, which gives you an infinite amount of people to target, so you can just scale forever as long as the ad copy does not become saturated. So in this example, we start off with a $500 CBO, and we're targeting worldwide audiences, e-packet audiences, USA audiences, Canada, UK, New Zealand, Australia grouped up together into a bundle. And the reason why this is bundled up is because all these people speak English in these countries, so you can kind of bundle those people up together. USA itself has plenty of people to target. E-packet itself is somewhat of a higher quality audience than just targeting worldwide, so this is in a group of its own. And then we do have worldwide for that infinite amount of the infinite expansion. So inside the worldwide audience, you probably have a couple 100 million people in there, which means that usually as you scale the CBO, you'll never exhaust the audience inside worldwide. And then I follow the same exact format for the ads. I'll take the winning ads and I'll throw them in here. For this example, I only put 2 per ad set, but usually I'll put about four dupes of the same ads. I just didn't do that for this diagram because there wasn't enough room for me to put 4 boxes in each of these squares. So I'll start this off at 500 as well, and then if it does perform well for 2 days, then I'll bump it up double, and I'll basically do the same exact thing as scaling phase 1, except now we just have different audiences. Oh, and I forgot to also mention that the minimum spend on these are going to be about $50. My general rule of thumb is I want all the ad sets combined inside the CBO, the minimum spend to equal 50% of the total spending budget on the CBO. That way Facebook has 50% left of the budget for them to allocate on their own, and you're not deciding where Facebook allocates that 50%. But you want to force Facebook to allocate the first 50% to ad sets that you think might work and give them all a fair chance. So let's go into the notes and go over some of the things you have to be careful about when you're running CBOs. You want to make sure you set up rules so that you kill ads that don't perform. You don't want to let ads inside a CBO continue to run if it's not performing, because it's just going to eat up your CBO budget. You want that money to be going into ads that are performing well. So some of the easy rules that I set up at the start is if the spend exceeds 2 times the target cost per purchase and there's less than 1 purchase, then turn off that ad. If the spend is greater than 4 times and the cost per purchase is greater than the target cost per purchase, then also turn off that ad because it's probably not going to stay profitable. Another thing is that you want to always set minimum and maxes. I usually set mine so that all the ad sets combined inside the CBO totals up to about 50% of the total CBO spend. This way, the remaining 50% is up to Facebook to decide, and the initial 50% you're forcing Facebook to give an equal chance to all of the ad sets. Now, for maxes, on some of the ad sets I'll set it depending on how many ad sets I have inside the CBO. So for example, in a $5,000 CBO with 10 ad sets, I would set a maximum of $1,000 on all the ad sets and a minimum of $250. And I do this because sometimes when you're running these high budgets, your ad sets could go rogue, and by rogue I mean it could just eat up all of your budget. So On a $5,000 CBO, one of those ad sets could literally eat up like $2,000 of your budget and also perform terribly. So to prevent that from happening, I usually set a max spend of $1,000 on each of the ad sets if I'm running a very big CBO. Alright, so here we are in the back end of the ad account. I just wanted to show you guys this just so you guys know that I'm not bullshitting about any of this. As you can see right here, here's the total amount spent, $312,000, and if you refresh the page, yep, there you go. And as I explained in the strategy, the final step in the strategy is to get to those broad target CBOs. And as you can see right here, I finally got to that point where I was able to scale up a CBO to $4,000 and spend profitably. So my target cost per purchase on the store was $35, and it stayed just a little bit below that, $32. So if you account for the fact that I had retargeting and my retargeting was performing at about 5x ROAS, then this was a great campaign. And let's take a look inside of this. So we have EPAC here worldwide, Canada, Australia, UK, and the USA. And the reason why these two are turned off now is because they started to perform pretty bad, I guess. So I guess my rules kind of turned them off early on. And then it allocated all the budget into the winning audiences, which was worldwide and ePacket. And if you look inside of here, just like I said, it's basically targeting everything besides USA, India, Canada, UK, and Australia. I have these removed because I have those as targeting over here. And I also had India removed here because the traffic from India was very cheap and the quality of traffic coming in from India was not converting, so I decided to remove it. And then I always set an English language cap just because if you leave this open, then you get a lot of traffic coming in that's a lot lower in terms of quality because a lot of people don't speak English, but they click on the link just because they like the product, but they end up not buying because they cannot navigate through your website. So make sure you guys always set this language cap right here. And then for the targeting, I left it as auto, conversion window, 7 days, click, 1 day view. And that's really it for this. I guess I did forget to set ad spend limit at this time when I was making this campaign, but I did start using that for future practices. So make sure you guys set a min spend for all of your ad sets inside your CBOs. Now let's get on over into the website. Here is the back end of the store. It did $550,000 in sales, and I think this is also attributing for refunds. So in total, it did 560 something thousand, but after the refunds, we're left with 550,000. Let's just refresh the page, and yep, we got 550,000. So that was the total revenue for the store. Here are the units that I've sold. I'm just showing you guys all this as proof for the numbers or the stats I showed you earlier in the video. Alright, so I think that's about it for the entire store rundown. I'll go over the ad accounts in a more detailed video later on in the future, so make sure you guys stay subscribed, and let's go on into the next part of the slide. Alright, so here was the exact video ad that I used to make all those sales. Although I did duplicate this video ad a couple of times, this one had the most engagement, and all the other videos also had the exact same videos, just had different thumbnails. So I was testing out multiple different thumbnails to see which one would work the best, and this one happened to do the best. And I think this thumbnail did the best because the moment you look at it, you're a little bit grossed out because all these mosquitoes are being dumped out of the can, but at the same time you're kind of intrigued to see what's going on and like what the hell is going on with all these mosquitoes. So you're kind of enticed to click on play. So let's play the video. And as you can see from the initial slide of the dumping out of the mosquitoes, this kind of gets your attention. It grosses you out with all these bugs, and then it goes right into the product. So now you're just like, okay, I'm grossed out about these mosquitoes, and then you see the solution to the problems, which is this mosquito catcher. It's going to catch all these mosquitoes for you and save you at night. So what I love about this is it goes right into this animated clip right here, right after dumping these mosquitoes. And the reason why the view time or the average view time goes up so high when you have an animated clip coming up right after you show the product is because people love to see animations a lot more than normal videos like this. Like after testing out so many different videos, it seems that animated clips perform extremely well after the first 3 seconds of a video. So I tend to put animated videos right after the first 3 seconds, and it does do very well. So yeah, so after the initial 3 seconds and the animated clip, we basically go into all the features about the trap and the uses for it, and that's basically it for the entire video. It's very short, very concise, and it gets right to the point. And I think the reason why this video worked so well was because you lure them in with the initial bait, you get them with the animated clip, they watch through all this, and by the time you're done watching through this, it's like you're pretty interested in the product, and you check out all the features, and if it does fit your needs, then you're going to end up buying it. And then in the copy here itself, we don't have any emotional aspects about selling the product, but we do say that it's on sale for 60%, and there's only 24 hours left, so we do have that scarcity timer inside the copy, and then we give them the exact features of what the product does, as well as a 30-day guarantee, and then give them a link right to shop now. And as you can see, this video did amazing. 28 million views, 34,000 likes, 22,000 comments, 16,000 shares. People absolutely love this product, and it was doing great until there hit a point where way too many people came into the market and kind of saturated the product. And I wasn't able to DMCA anyone for copying my video or copying the copy, because the video is actually not even mine. I think I got this from a mixture of AliExpress videos and YouTube videos from way back before. I think this product was being sold about 2 years ago, and then it kind of died off and people forgot about it, and then I brought it back in to mass market, and the moment I kind of made this video go viral, all the dropshipping groups started to hop on this product and start copying me. So eventually it became very hard for me to run this product because so many people were competing with me trying to sell the exact same product. Alright, so I think that's about it. I showed you guys my ads, I showed you guys my store, I showed you guys how much profit I made, my ad strategy, and basically revealed like the entire store to you guys. Now I want to tell you guys why my sales decreased and what I could have done maybe to increase my sales again. So one of the big problems was that after my store kind of went viral and it hit the top 200 Shopify stores for about 2 days at its peak, people started posting about my stores in all those Facebook groups, and a lot of people were actually coming into my store and firing fake purchases. My retargeting actually reported I had like a 500x ROAS because somebody came into my store and fired a $2 million retargeting purchase, as in they clicked on one of my retargeting ads, came in and fired a fake purchase for $2 million, and it really fucked up my data for a lot of the ROAS on all the campaigns because so many people were coming in and firing fake purchases. Also, there was a lot of copycat stores. Once my store kind of blew up and it was posted in all the groups, everyone started to copy my store, as in the exact layout, the exact copy, and the exact video ads. And with the competition increasing so drastically, my ads slowly became unprofitable and it was hard to run. So yeah, eventually the saturation kind of drove me out of business. But if I were to increase sales again and try this out again, I would actually test out a new video creative, because no matter how much competition kind of enters into the market, if you do have a unique creative angle, you're still able to kind of make sales even with all the competition. And I'm doing that with a product right now that I will be revealing to you guys in another video. But yeah, that product is super saturated, but I'm still able to run it profitably because my creative is a little bit more unique than other people. But for this mosquito trap in general, I have not tried to run new creatives because I don't have any more animated videos to try out right now. And if I did want to create one, it would cost $2,000 to $3,000. And for now, I decided to move on to easier products to run than continuing to try to run a super saturated product. So what did I learn from this entire experience? I learned that you want to prevent these fake purchase fires. I see that once your store goes viral, people try to all copy you, and a lot of people do get jealous and come in and fire these fake purchases. So the way I'm preventing these fake purchases right now is I use an app called Trackify, and I set up a dummy pixel to be my main pixel on Trackify. And in Trackify, you can attach a secondary pixel to the app, and the secondary pixel is actually attached to my ad account, and the main pixel is not attached to anything. So the main pixel is just there as a dummy. So people will fire the fake purchases on my main pixel thinking that it's going to fuck up my ad account, but it actually does not do anything because it's not attached to anything, and all the data is actually being transferred from my secondary pixel into my ad account. Another thing I learned is you want to scale hard and fast, and by that I mean you want to scale so fast that your competition doesn't have time to catch up. So for this store, I was kind of patiently, slowly scaling it up, thinking that I had the market under control, but I didn't see the competition creeping up, and by the time they kind of caught up to me, it was already too late. I wasn't able to scale past $30,000 per day because at that point, my ads started to go down in terms of ROAS, and I couldn't scale. So what I learned was the moment you find the winning product, don't be afraid to scale fast. And also another thing is you don't want to go into worldwide targeting right away. Try to use top tier countries and then go into worldwide. I made a big mistake of targeting worldwide countries at the start for this store, and what that did was kind of ruin my pixel data because it drove a lot of people from very cheap countries into my country who did not convert. So by giving my pixel a lot of low quality data and traffic, I wasn't able to get to cheap purchases quicker because Facebook was not able to find high value customers quicker. So I'd say go with top tier countries and then switch over to worldwide once your Facebook pixel has enough data. Alright, so thank you guys for watching. Join my group, Ecom. The link's down below. The download to my blueprint or the little ads diagram that you saw is also in the group. So if you want to download that, join the Facebook group. You guys can comment down below with any questions and I'll do my best to answer them. And then subscribe for more case studies on my other 7-figure stores. I've done over 8 figures in the past year alone. And I have plenty of case studies that I want to show you guys in my future videos.